Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Greg Heffley's Journal by Jeff Kinney. September, Tuesday. First of all, let me get something straight. This is a journal, not a diary. I know what it says on the cover, but when Mom went out to buy this thing, I specifically told her to get on that didn't say diary on it. Great. All I need is for some jerk to catch me carrying this book around and get the wrong idea. The other thing I want to clear up right away is that this was Mom's idea, not mine. But if she thinks I'm going to write down my feelings in here or whatever, she's crazy. So just don't expect me to be a all dear diary this and dear diary that. The only reason I agreed to do this at all is because I figured later on when I'm rich and famous, I will have better things to do than answer people's stupid question all day long. So this book is gonna come in handy. Like I said, I'll be famous one day. But for now, I'm stuck in middle school with a bunch of morons. Let me just say, for the record, that I think middle school is the dumbest idea ever invented. You have got kids like me who haven't hit their growth spurt yet, mixed in with these gorillas who need to shave twice a day. And then they wonder why bullying is such a big problem in middle school. If it was up to me, grade level would be based on height, not age. But then again, I guess that would mean kids like Chirag Gupta would still be in the first grade. Today is the first day of school, and right now we're just waiting around for the teacher to hurry up and finish the sitting chart. So I figured I might as well write in this book to pass the time. By the way, let me give you some good advice. On the first day of school, you have got to be real careful where you sit. You walk into the classroom and just plunk your stuff down on any old desk, and the next thing you know, that the teacher is saying, so in this class, I got stuck with Chris Hosley in front of me and Lionel James at the back of me. John's Brill come in late and almost sat to my right, but luckily I stopped that from happening at the last second. He asked, is this seat taken? I said, yes. Next period. I should just sit in the middle of the bunch of hot girls as soon as I step in the room. But I guess if I do that, it just proves I didn't learn anything from the last year. Man, I don't know what is up with girls these days. It used to be a whole lot simpler back in elementary school. The deal was if you were the fastest runner in your class, you got all the girls. And in the 5th grade, the fastest runner was Ronnie McCoy. Nowadays, it's a whole lot more complicated. Now it's about the kid kind of clothes you wear or how rich you are or if you have a cute butt or whatever. And kids like Ronnie McCoy are scratching their heads wondering what the heck happened. The most popular boy in my grade is Bryce Anderson. The things that they stings is that I have always been into girls, but kids like Bryce have only come around in the last couple of years. I remember how Bryce used to act back in elementary school. But of course, now I don't get any credit for sticking with the girls all the time. Like I said, Bryce is the most popular kid in our grade. So that leaves all the rest of us guys scrambling for the other spots. The best I can figure is that I am somewhere around 52 or 53rd. Most people this year's, but the good news is that I'm about to move up one spot because Charlie Davies is above me and he is getting his braces next week. I tried to explain all the popularity stuff to my friend Rowley, who is probably hovering right around the 150 mark by the way. But I think it just goes in one ear and out the other with him. Wednesday. Today we had physics ED. So the first thing I did when I got outside was snack off to the basketball court to see if the cheese was still there, and sure enough it was. The piece of cheese has been sticking on the court since last spring. I guess it must have dropped out of someone's sandwich or something. After a couple of days, the cheese started getting all muddy and nasty. Nobody would play basketball on the court where the cheese was, even though that was the only court that have a hoop with a net. Then one day, this kid named Darren Wallace touched the cheese with his finger, and that's what started the thing called cheese touch. It's basically like the coaties. If you get the cheese touch, you are stuck with it until you pass it on to someone else. The only way to protect yourself from the cheese touch is cross your fingers. But it's not that easy remembering to keep your finger crossed every moment of the day. I ended up tapping mine together so they would stay crossed all the time. I got a D in handwriting, but it was totally worth it. This one kid named Abby Hull got the cheese touch in April, and nobody would even come near him for the rest of the year. This summer, Abby moved away from to California and took the cheese touch with him. I just hope someone doesn't start the cheese touch again because I don't need that kind of stress in my life anymore. Thursday. I'm having a serious hard time getting used to the fact that summer is over and I have to get out of the bed every morning to go to school. My summer did not exactly get off to a great start thanks to my older brother Roderick. A couple of days into summer vacation, Roderick wake me up in the middle of the night. He told me I slept through the whole summer, but luckily I wake up just in time for the first day of my school. You might think I was pretty dumb for falling for that, but Roderick was dressed up in his school clothes, and he would set my alarm clock ahead to make it look like it was the morning. Plus, he closed my curtains too, so I couldn't see that it was still dark out. After Roderick woke me up, I just got dressed and went downstairs to make myself some big breakfast, like I do every morning on the school days. But I guess I must have made a pretty big racket because the next thing I knew, Dad was downstairs yelling at me for eating cornflakes at 3 in the morning. It took me a minute to figure out what the hell was going on. After I did, I told Dad that Roderick had played a trick on me and he was the one that should be getting yelled at. Dad walked down to the basement to chew Roderick out, and I tagged along. I couldn't wait to see Roderick get what was coming to him. But Roderick covered up that track pretty good. And to this days, I'm sure that thinks I have got a screw loose or something. Today at school, we got assigned on Friday. Today at school, we got assigned to reading groups. They don't come right out and tell you if you are the gifted group or the easy group. But you can figure it out right away by looking at the cover of the book they hand out. Einstein as a child, Blink says Bo. I was pretty disappointed to find out I got put in gifted group because that just means a lot of extra work. When they did the screening at the end of the last year, I did my best to make sure I got put in the easy group this year. Mom is real tight with our principal, so I'll bet she stepped in and made sure I got put in the gifted group again. Mom is always saying I'm a smart kid, but that I just don't apply myself. But if there is one thing I learned from Roderick, it to set people's expectation real low, so you end up surprising them by practically doing nothing at all. Actually, I'm kind of glad my plan to get put in the easy group didn't work. I saw a couple of the Blink says Bo kids holding their books upside down, and I don't think they were joking. Well, the first week of school is finally over in Saturday. Today I slept in. Most kids wake up early on Saturday to watch cartoons or whatever, but not me. The only reason I get out of bed at all the weekend is because eventually I can't stand the taste of my own breath anymore. Unfortunately, Dad wakes up at 6 in the morning no matter what day of the week it is. And he is not real considerate of the fact that I am trying to enjoy my Saturday like a normal person. I didn't have anything to do today, so I just headed up to Rowley's house. Rowley is technically my best friend, but that is definitely subject to change. I have been avoiding Rowley since the first day of school when he did something that really annoyed me. When we're getting our stuff from our locker at the end of the day, and Rowley's come up to me and said, "Want to come over to my house and play?" I have told Rowley at last billion of times that now that we are in middle school, we're supposed to say hang out, not play. But no matter how many noggies I give him, he always forgets the next time. I have been trying to be a lot more careful about my image ever since I got to middle school, but having Rowley around me is definitely not helping. I met Rowley a few years ago when he moved into my neighborhood. His mom bought him this book called How to Make Friends in New Places, and he come to my house trying at this dumb gimmicks. Knock knock. I said yes. Excuse me? There must be some way to tickle your funny bone. So what? I guess I kind of felt sorry for Rowley and I decided to take him under my wing. It's been great having him around, mostly because I got to use all the tricks Roderick pulls on me. Monday. You know how I said I play all sorts of pranks on Rowley? Well, I have a little brother named Manny. I could never get away with pulling any of that stuff on him. Mom and Dad protect Manny like he is a prince or something, and he never gets into trouble, even if he really deserves it. Yesterday, Manny drew a self-portrait on my bedroom door in permanent marker. I thought Mom and Dad were really going to let him have it, but as usual, I was wrong. But the thing that bugs me the most about Manny is the nickname he has for me. When he was a baby, he couldn't pronounce brother, so he started calling me Bubby. And he still calls me that now, even though I keep trying to get Mom and Dad to make him stop. Luckily, none of my friends have found out yet, but believe me, I have had some really close calls. Mom makes me help Manny to get ready for school in the morning. After I make Manny his breakfast, he carries his Cerelac bowl into the family room and sits on his plastic potty. And when it's time for him to go to the daycare, he gets up and dumps whatever he didn't eat right in the toilet. Mom is always getting on me about not finishing my breakfast, but if she had to scrap cornflakes out of the bathroom, out of the bottom of a plastic potty every morning, she wouldn't have much of an appetite either. Tuesday. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I am super good at video games. I'll bet I could beat anyone in my grade head to head. Unfortunately, Dad does not exactly appreciate my skill. He is always getting on me about going out and doing something active. So, tonight, after dinner, when Dad started hassling me about going outside, I tried to explain how with video games you can play sports like football and soccer and you don't have to get all hot and sweaty. But as usual, Dad didn't see my logic. Dad is pretty smart guy in general, but when it comes to common sense, sometimes I wonder about him. I'm sure Dad would dismantle my game system if he could figure out how to do it. But luckily, the people who make these things make them parent proof. Every time Dad kicks me out of the house to do something sporty, I just go up to Rolly's house, play my video games there. Unfortunately, the only games I can play at Rolly's are car racing games and stuff like that. Because whenever I bring a game up to Rolly's house, his father looks it up on some parents website, and if my game has any kind of fighting or violence in it, he won't let us play. I'm getting a little sick of playing Formula 1 racing with Rolly because he's not a serious gamer like me. All that you have to do to beat Rolly is name your car something ridiculous at the beginning of the game. And then when you pass Rolly's, he just falls to pieces. Anyway, after I got done mopping the floor with Rollies today, I headed home. I ran through the neighbor's sparkle a couple times to make it look like I was all sweaty, and that seems to do the trick for Dad. But my trick kind of backfired because as soon as Mom saw me, he made me go upstairs and take a shower. Wednesday. I guess Dad must have been pretty happy with himself for making me go outside yesterday because he did it again today. It's getting really annoying to have to go up to Rolly's every time I want to play video games. There is this weird kid named Frigley who lives halfway between my house and Rolly's, and Frigley is always hanging out in the front yard. So it's pretty hard to avoid him. Frigley is my physics ED class at school, and he has the whole made up language. Like when he needs to go to bathroom, he says juice. Us kids have pretty much figured Frigley out by now, but I don't think the teacher have really caught on yet. Today I probably would have gone up to Rolly's on my own anyway because my brother Roderick and his band were practicing down in the basement. Roderick's band is really awful and I can't stand being home when they are having rehearsal. His band is called Loaded Dapper, only it's spelled Loaded Dipper on Roderick's van. You might think he spelled it that way to make it look cooler, but I bet if you told Roderick how Loaded Dapper is really spelled, it would be news to him. Dad was against the idea of Roderick starting a band, but Mom was all for it. She's the one who bought Roderick his first drum set. I think Mom has this idea that we are all going to learn to play instruments and then become one of those family band like you see on TV that really hates having heavy metal, and that's the kind of music Roderick and his band play. I don't think Mom really cares what Roderick plays or listens to because to her all music's the same. In fact, earlier today Roderick was listening to one of his CDs in the family room and Mom's come in and started dancing. They really balked Roderick, so he drove off to the store and came back with 15 minutes later with some headphones. And that pretty much took care of the problem. Yesterday, Roderick got a new heavy metal CD, and it had one of those parental warning sticker on it. I have never got to listen to one of those parental warning CDs because mom and dad never let me buy them at all the mall. So I realized the only way I was gonna get a chance to listen to Roderick's CD was if I snuck it out of the house. This morning after Roderick left, I called up Rawlis and told him to bring his CD player to school. Then I went down to Roderick's room and took the CD off his rack. You are not allowed to bring personal music players to school, so we had to wait to use it until after the lunch when the teachers let us outside. As soon as we got to the chance, me and Rawlis snuck around the back of the school and loaded up Roderick's CD. But Rawlis forget to put batteries in his CD player, so it was pretty much worthless. Then I come up with the great idea for a game. The object was to put the headphone on the head and then try to snag them off without using your hands. The winner was whoever could shake the headphone off the shortest amount of time. I had the record with 7.5 seconds, but I think I might have shook some of my feelings loose with that one. Right in the middle of our game, Mr. Kriag, come. Mrs. Kriag, come. Around the corner and caught us red-handed, she took the music player away from me and started chewing us out. But I think she had the wrong idea about what we're doing. Back there, she started telling us how rock and roll is evil and how it's going to ruin our brains. I was going to tell her that there weren't even any batteries in the CD player, but I could tell she didn't want me to be interrupted, so I just waited until she was done. And then I said, "Yes, ma'am." But right when Mrs. Craig was about to let us go, Rowley started blubbering about how he doesn't want rock and roll to ruin his brain. Honestly, sometimes I don't know about that boy. Friday. Well, now I have gone and done it. Last night, after everyone was in bed, I snuck downstairs to listen to Roderick's CD on the stereo in the family room. I put Roderick's new headphone on cracked up the volume really high. I hit play. First, let me just say, I can definitely understand why they put parental warning sticker on the CD, but I only got to hear about 30 seconds of the first song before I got interrupted. It turns out I didn't have the headphone plugged into the stereo, so the music was actually coming through the speaker, not the headphones. Dad marched me up to my room and shut the door behind him, and then he said, "Listen, you and me have a talk as a friend. Whenever Dad says friend that way, you know you're in trouble." The first time Dad was ever said friend like that to me, I didn't get that he was being sarcastic, so I kind of let my guard down. I don't make that mistake anymore. Tonight, Dad yelled at me for about 10 minutes, and then I guess he decided he would rather be in bed than standing in my room in his underwear. He told me I was grounded for playing video games for 2 weeks, which is about what I expected. I guess I should be glad that's all he did. The good thing about Dad is that when he gets mad, he cools off real quick, and then it's over. Usually, if you mess up in front of Dad, he just throw whatever he got in his hand at you. Mom has totally different style. When it comes to punishment, if you mess up and mom catches you, the first thing she does is to take a few days to figure out what your punishment should be. And when you are waiting, you do all these nice things to try to get off easier. But then after a few days, right when you forget you are in trouble, that's when she lays it on you. Are you having fun? Yes. No video games for a week. Monday. This video game ban is a whole lot tougher than I thought it would be. but at least I'm not the only one in the family who's in trouble. Rodrick's in some hot water with mom right now, too. Manny got hold of one of Rodrick's heavy metal magazines, and one of the pages had a picture of a woman in a bikini lying across the hood of a car. And then Manny brought it into a daycare to show and tell. Anyway, I didn't think mom was too happy about getting that phone call. I saw the magazine myself and it honestly wasn't anything to get worked up over. But mom doesn't allow that kind of stuff in our house. Rodrick's punishment was that he had to answer a bunch of questions mom written out for him. Did owning this magazine make you a better person? No. Did it make you more popular at school? No. How do you feel about hearing on this type of magazine now? I feel ashamed. Do you have anything you want to say to women for having owned this offensive magazine? I'm sorry, woman. Wednesday, I'm still grounded for playing video games, so many have been using my system. Mom went out and brought a whole bunch of educational video games, and watching Manny play them is like torture. The good news is that I finally figured out how to get some of my game past role is that I just put one of my discs in Manny's discovering the alphabet case, and that's all it takes. Thursday, at school today, they announced government election are coming up. To be honest with you, I have been never had any interest in student government, but when I started thinking about, I realized getting elected treasurer could totally change my situation at school. And even better, nobody ever thinks about running for treasurer because all anyone ever cares about are the big tickets position like president and vice president. So I figured out if I sign up tomorrow, the treasurer job is pretty much mine for the taking. Friday. Today I went to and put my name on the list to run for treasurer. Unfortunately, this kid named Marty Porter is running for treasurer too, and he's real brainy at maths. So the might not be as easy as I thought. I told Dad that I was running for president government and he seemed pretty excited. It turns out he ran for a student government when he was at my age, and he actually won. My dad dug through some old boxes in the basement and found one of his campaign posters. I thought the poster idea was pretty good, so I asked Dad to drive me to the store to get some supplies. I loaded up on poster board and markers and spent the rest of the night making all my campaign stuff. So let's just hope this poster works.